Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher. Welcome to the Sweetwater Minute. Special guests are here today. This is NewSong. Great to have you guys here. Eddie?
Glad to be here.
Billy? Rico?
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you guys coming over. I know you're in the middle of the Winter Jam Spectacular, and you've got a show here in Fort Wayne tonight at the Coliseum.
Sure do.
Yeah.
On our last weekend. This is the last weekend of the tour.
Is that right?
44 cities. So,
Nice.
It's been great.
So you got it dialed in at this point.
Well, we're always working on it.
So you've been doing Winter Jam for quite a while.
Yeah, it started the first night of it 23 years ago. It wasn't called Winter Jam, but we had this. I had this thought from we kept hearing people say they couldn't afford to come see us. You know, we'd see them at bookstores, get an autograph while they bought their new cassette or whatever it was back then.
Right.
But they'd say they'd never seen us before because they couldn't afford it. They had a family of 5 or whatever. And Christian music concerts weren't that big back then. You know, the crowds weren't very big. So I wondered how many people would come if they could afford it. If that's what's keeping people from coming. So we decided to do it for $3, and we rented a 6,500 seat arena. We'd never been to a Christian concert and one that big, I don't think. And the promoter said, I think it'll go good. I wouldn't get too excited. And we had to turn 1,000 people away. Like, wow, this is crazy. And so we came back the next year and did it again, same thing. And then we started bringing a few friends in, like Russ Taff and guys in those days, just simple, bring their guitar and play a few songs. And eventually we went to 10 bands for $10 and did that for a long, long time. So kind of gets us to here.
Right. That's amazing. So you say 10 bands on the show, and the way you guys arrange that is like 3 pre-lights down and 7 lights.
Yeah, we have
after.
a pre-jam party, we call it, and most of those are brand new artists. And I tell the audience some nights, because I'm out there usually talking in that period of time, don't take this for granted, because tonight you may not know any of these artists, but I remember for King and Country was the first lights down artist. Francesca Battistelli was, the list goes on and on and on of people that started as a pre-jam artist, and now they possibly could be the headliner.
Right.
So don't take these guys and girls for granted just because they're coming, the lights aren't down yet. These are people that are getting their first shot at you seeing them.
Right. I think that's so cool that you're introducing new artists to the audience and giving them a chance to check that out and giving the artists an opportunity as well. I mean, that's really cool.
Really good artists this year on the pre-jam party as well.
So how do you choose the artists that are coming into the tour?
Well, for the other 7 to make the 10, you know, it's a lot of finding out what people have, who's available. There's a lot of other tours and things like that. A lot of that going on, and who we've had it recently. And it's definitely a job to get it all, get it all covered and feel like you've going to present what you hope the people are looking to see, and covering all the genres that'll be out there, and having a lot of fun, having great ministry. So all those things have to be. It's not an easy little thing to fill in the gap, fill in the dots. You can fill in what you think you'd like to do. And that goes out the window.
Right.
Almost immediately.
Logistics have to be crazy
Yeah.
with 10 artists, and managing all of that has to be quite a situation to manage.
Yeah,
that's very cool. So the Winter Jam has been going on for 23 years, but the band's been around for quite a bit longer than that, back to about 1981, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So where did the band come from? You guys were original founding members, right?
Right.
Yeah, we were actually just some guys in a local church singing for the church there, and then got people asking us to go to other places and sing. And everywhere we go, we felt compelled that we did share the gospel, how to have a relationship with Jesus. And we saw God do so many works that it got to a point where we were basically taking all the family time we had and going out and doing the NewSong thing. So we finally reached a point where we said, we got to pray about this, whether we need to stop it or quit our jobs and continue this. And we prayed and asked God to show us. He showed us in a very real way. And so we set a date, all of us working at different places, and put in our resignations and started this thing on faith. Had no idea what we were doing, where we were going, or how to do it.
Right.
But we knew that we felt really convicted that God had called us to do it, so we stepped out, like I said, in 81.
And had you already started recording at that point, or was that getting into that end of it in the future yet?
We did our first recording then, because we had a band that was with us, and during all the time of praying about quitting and going full time, we asked the band to pray, and some of the guys said, yeah, we'd do it, or some of them said, nah, I need to finish my schooling. So we just went to the studio and put on track all the stuff that was happening live, and started out with tracks, just 4 guys, vocals and tracks.
Okay.
Cheaper that way too, Bob.
Thank God we got a band now. So
yeah, exactly.
We got it on track, but he's still up there.
right. That's the way of the future. What can I say?
So Rico, how did you come into the band?
Oh gosh, years ago. It's been probably 17 years now. I was out freelancing with C.C. Winans and Rachel Lampa and Clay Cross, people like that. And I stumbled across, I was actually in Atlanta, Georgia, and doing a gospel fest there.
Right.
And their old guitar player saw me play, and he's like, man, I need to sub for a couple weeks. So basically, that turned into, hey man, I'm not going to come back. Can you hang with it and see how it works out for you? And I'm like, sure. So,
Right.
One thing led to another, and Eddie and I went for a walk, and Eddie says, well, hey, guys seem to like you. Let's see how it goes. And 17 years later.
Here you are 17 years later.
Time for another walk, I think.
Yeah, another walk. It's time to walk on out, I guess, Right. Serve my time, man,
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's been a great journey, man.
Yeah,
It's
no
been
doubt.
really exciting, and, a lot of great ministry out here with NewSong, so.
Sure. And a big part of that, of course, is the songs. Tell us how the songs come together. You're one of the chief writers, correct?
Yeah, there's through the years I have been, and there's a lot of guys that help do it anymore, but still gets back to using some stuff I'm working on most of the time. So it's been fun to do that, and it's fun to see songs, that we still sing that we sang almost back from that very beginning that just happened to be songs that God really gave us to carry us along, actually, like Arise My Love. I don't know who's familiar with what song, I think we've sung that every night since forever.
Right.
Before Rico,
Sure.
we were singing Arise My Love.
Sure.
But anyway, so yeah, it's been a lot of great writing and different people, sometimes guys in the band. One of the guys in the band, Leonard Ostrom, was in the band for quite a while. And he was a great writer and been writing. So we started writing together and wrote a lot of songs. And then as he left, other people, we just been swapping around. I usually get in the mix somewhere.
Right. So what is the process of taking a song idea to the studio? Because you're a 9-piece band, and there's got to be some arranging there that makes all that work to give everybody their space in the arrangement.
Yeah, at this point, we have a producer we're working with is great. His name's Ted T. He does for King Country and a lot of other people. So at this point, we'll go to him with something and start talking about it, and different than we did maybe 20 years ago, if you had a song idea. But start messing with it and then get the band involved as we get something going along and say, hey, we really need you to come in and listen to this and put a drum track down on it. We need you to come in and play your guitar part. And we'll start building a little, we might say a demo. Sometimes some of the guys might be there, but guys are scattered. But so we'll start building a demo, and then as we see it's going to really be the song we want to complete, because some of them we don't finish. We'll say, yeah, I like that, let's go back to it later. But the ones we're really moving forward with and feel like something we really want to, really excited about finishing right then, we'll start bringing guys in, give them add things. And sometimes we'll save up 2 or 3 things, say, come in, spend a day, and let's do this. So it works well.
Right.
And we'll talk about things on the road, of course, as well, too. But
Sure.
But right now we're basing out of that Ted T studio, and he's right there in Franklin, Tennessee. And some of us live there, we're usually going there, through there, get going places. It's Nashville too, so.
Right. So when you bring the players in, or when you come in, do you guys have specific, do you have an idea in mind for them? The songwriter or the producer coming in, or do you guys come in and just have an open kind of slate to work on?
It's pretty open with Ted a lot
It's
of times.
pretty open, and Ted's a good person to be a guide. Like, I love what you're playing, Rico, but how about do this as well? And have great ideas. He's a talented guy.
I love how he can pull other things out of you. That's the good thing about having a producer, is someone that can
He's not just
pull something.
He's not a
different from you.
recorder. He can help you. And sometimes now he gets involved with the songwriting process, so he's willing way into it too. Once they come in, he already's hearing possibly a guitar part, or hearing what Jack should do on the drums that he thinks is going to be there, really thinks is going to set the song off. So, so it really helps having a guy like that help you do it. So.
Sure. And a hallmark of the band is that you have multiple vocalists, lots of people singing. How do you do those vocal arrangements?
Kind of as it comes.
As it comes. You're listening to the song, and there's a general idea, and you get in there and try what's maybe on the demo, or something sounds a little funny, shift it around a little bit. And
you may even change singers. You say, what? I like the way Billy sings that, but let's hear what Russ sounds like singing that, or let's hear what so-and-so sounds like singing like that. And then we may end up using both for some parts of the song. And so it's always just a fun mystery trying to get to the end and see. And, if you're working on that far down the road, you really think it's going to be a real good song. So you're excited to see what's going to happen. And sometimes you get out there and think, I really thought that was going to be more like this. I still like it, but I turned out I love this one, and I didn't. Things happen like that, of course.
Sure. Yeah.
If you do 10 songs on a project, you more than likely are really excited about all of them, but you'll end up playing 2 or 3 of them probably in concert, and back when we were getting more radio, you'd have 4 or 5 of them would go to radio. So, but you had to put your heart and soul to all 10 to get to that point, to find out what those songs were. So you're trying to bring your best ideas, just look through all your song ideas and start that process of, see if it resonates with whoever you're about to write with. What do you think about this idea or their idea, whatever the case may be, and then get out, take from that 20 maybe ideas you're messing with, get it all back down to what your finished product's going to be. So
Sure.
it's fun.
Is
Yeah,
anyone
absolutely.
doing records anymore?
It's fun.
It's still going on.
It seems like single thing is real big now, just making singles.
Yeah, different approaches, right? Yeah, some people are
Yeah.
putting out like a single a month, or
Yeah.
and then they collect them into an album at the end. But yeah, there's definitely still lots of people.
Yeah, a
recording.
lot of that.
Right. So Rico, when you go in then as a guitar player, one of the challenges, especially with a bigger ensemble like that, is finding the right guitar tones and finding a place for your guitar to fit into what's happening there, both part-wise and sonically. Tell us a little bit about how you approach that.
I think that was a big thing back in the day. Like, hey man, I got like 5 vintage amps, and I bring all this stuff in and pedals. And nowadays, a lot of it's being done with computer plugins. And at least, when Ted comes out, he's come out on the road, and sometimes I'll just record a clean guitar part, and then he'll go in and add, something from Amplitude or something, or
Right.
a guitar rig.
Right.
So you really never know what it's going to be. It works both ways still. But a lot of people now will do a direct signal, and then they'll, with all the technology, will manipulate that as the song goes further down the road and say, well, that tone didn't work. It worked then, but it may not work,
Right.
now.
So you don't want to be locked in
Yeah.
to it later in the process. which is fine.
I'm okay with that. Sometimes the tones aren't really, I feel the best they could be at, with some of that stuff. It's good, but it's just not, The
Right.
Kemper stuff is a big thing right now. It's just guitar modeling sounds, and you guys all own that from the store here. You probably
Sure.
sell them.
Sure.
So, it's just another tool, basically.
Right.
So, to
Right.
record.
How many guitars
So-
do you have, Rico?
About 15 or 16, but it's basically like utility guitars, like sitars, baritone, tenor guitars, acoustics, electrics,
Right.
a mixture of a lot of different stuff, bass,
Right.
all that kind of thing.
Sure.
Dulcimer, lap steel, just all that stuff,
Right.
So
Rico produces
I
stuff
enjoy
at his
banjo,
home too. He
mandolin,
does
yeah.
his own things at home too. So he has
yeah,
tons of ideas and brings them, and we sort through those as well. Like that
Right.
might work, might not.
Yeah, I've
Right.
got a nice little setup, and Ted's come over to the house before, and we've done guitars at my place for a couple days, and I've got the same stuff basically,
Right.
with outboard gear as well, and so we just, it's easy to go, man, I've got all my amps in the room and all my pedals and all this stuff here. I could just pull from, I couldn't lug all that stuff like the old days.
Right.
We had cartage back in the old days, so it was easy to get stuff there. So
Yeah, it's a little
But
different.
not
Like
now.
you still get cartage now. It's called money.
yeah. Someone got money to, hey, if you want to spend the money, come by my house and pick it up.
Sure.
But
So
yeah.
once you have the production finished and all the parts are in the recording, how do you take that to the stage then? How do you decide what parts are the essential ones to include?
Well, we change that up a lot, don't we?
Yeah, we.
Live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We do sometimes.
Yeah, we tweak it after we learn it.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the response is not what you thought it would be. And so you say, well, what can we add or take away here to make it fit better or feel better? So you're constantly working on it until you find us. I think we finally maybe have settled in now on this, what we're doing this tour.
Oh,
We
yeah,
got
yeah.
4 more dates.
That's the fun thing with arrangements and stuff, because you get to get out here and try different arrangements and make it more exciting for the people and for the players, and it just makes it fun. And Tom Jackson comes out; he does a lot of our stage stuff, and he'll have ideas about production, and like, let's stretch this out, or let's do this to the song, and so yeah.
We know people that are smarter than us. We bring them in. And also, if you have a real smart guy, everybody else has to go along with it. If it's just my idea, like, I don't know. But he comes in and says it. It's like, that's the thing to do.
It's great having an outside person come in. That's,
So we have an
different
outside
ears,
stage
eyes.
guy, how to present the songs, and then we have a producer that get the music ready. So we have 2 guys that we really are confident in their taste and their abilities. So pretty much everybody, if he's somebody, we'll question some things, but pretty much we're listening and wanting to do some version of what they ask us to do.
Right. Is that the same when you have, you guys have had some huge hits, the Christmas Shoes, When God Made You. These are huge hits that people, I would assume, expect to hear. Do they expect to hear them like the record, or do you feel like you can reinterpret them?
I don't know that we get real far away from the original. Like on Christmas Shoes, we can do a real short version if it's not Christmas time. Some places you go, you got to sing Christmas Shoes. Do a verse, do a verse and a chorus, and they're happy. But like Rico says, you have that freedom to change it up as you want to. But sometimes you're limited on how much you can do. In Winter Jam, we have about 20, 22 minutes, so we can't do a lot of stuff. So we've shortened a couple of songs. They're not as long as they would be in a normal concert, but we want to get them in to make sure that we can get as maximize the time we have. So we work hard on that to try to get the time right and still have the impact and don't diminish the impact of the song.
Yeah, we're not changing the chord structure of the songs or the melody. I think it's just the arrangement and intros and middle sections and stuff. So it stays true to the song. They're just adding to it a little bit.
Or taking away.
Or taking away. Yeah, we do that too to shorten it.
And of course, you guys have a huge catalog with all the albums you've done and all the music you've released. How do you choose the songs you're going to play for a particular show?
Well, on these shows, these Winter Jam shows especially, which you're only playing, like Billy said, like 20 minutes. So, and it's, it needs to be a certain type thing. This is a pretty upbeat, high impact, go out there and do your thing for 20 minutes. You can't go sit on a stool. I mean, you probably could, but somebody might could. Right. But for us, so picking those songs, and we already have a song or two that we know we're probably going to do regardless of what happens. And so then we look through what's some brand new things that we might do. So working through all those things, and one of the songs we do every night right now that's become probably the most popular song we do as far as something new. We didn't finish it. First time we sang it was at Winter Jam. We were working on how to do it on the stage. We haven't even done it on the stage before. Not even done it ourselves in a smaller thing. But it's turned out to be really a really good thing. Right at the last minute, we said, well, what if we had a rapper in the middle of this? That'd be cool. There's a rapper on the tour. So the rap guy comes out. Turns out to be a big moment in the night. So making moments a lot during Winter Jam, little moments, things people really cling to, love. I love your set because you did this or you did that. And, of course, the song Arise My Love has stayed around forever. And so I guess if we keep doing this for, I don't know how much longer we'll do it, whatever time that could be, where it could come where you don't do Arise My Love anymore. Maybe it's out there somewhere, but right now I can't see it happening.
Right.
It's one of those things. We're willing to let you go do some other things, but you better end it. Go on.
As long as you get that one.
Hopefully we'll like those songs too, but you better end it. Arise My Love.
Right.
It's been one of those things that won't go away. I don't know when we first recorded it.
It's back in the 90s, early 90s.
Early 90s,
yeah. So the format for the show this year is it's a show in the round,
right? And
then you've got two ramps. Thank you. Does that change the way you perform? I mean, obviously you're trying to cover the whole stage, but is your approach to the whole thing different?
The only thing different is exactly opposite of everything you've ever done in your life.
Yeah, okay, but nothing else.
No, besides that, it's great.
I mean, I think it's amazing. I mean, really, because like if this was a stage, artists are performing to this side, they move over to that side, perform to that side, they go out this way. So there's really no front. But for us, I think it gives us a lot more options to be mobile and go to play for
so many of us on stage. That helps a lot of it too.
It does.
But you really have to think. I mean, it's
great.
We played about 15 shows into it. We had to play an in stage because the building couldn't hold the round stage. We had to do the normal old thing we've done all our life. And I felt like, this is so nice, so good to be home. I know right where to walk. I know right what I'm supposed to do. Right. But the other's been fun too. It's fun. But you have to kind of be a little bit more on it and make sure you try not to leave people out. And we pretty much know our spots now to keep everybody engaged. Because even though it's in the round, it's there's ramps to walk down and places to side to go.
Right.
Yeah. One of the bands just plays to one side. Now, some of the other band members walk around, but the guy that's doing the lead, he plays to one side.
Is that Ren Collective?
Ren Collective. He just plays that side. Feels good about it.
Yeah, he does.
Crowd cheers. I guess it's okay.
Right. It all works, right?
It's been exciting.
Well, they see him on the screen. So.
He's on the screen. The screens are big too, so that's a good thing.
And people love it too. The audience loves it. They're right up there on the stage, and it's just great.
Sure.
I think the big thing for audience is finding out because it's new to them to go to a round stage, and it's actually a square. It's in the middle, which is kind of in the round. But finding out where to sit, I think people think, I'm gonna get right up there, and Mandisa walks by, I may get to touch her. But sitting in that seat, you may not see her on that stage because the stage is high like this. You're sitting down here now, you know. That ramp goes up, and you stood there. Oh, I got to see Mandisa up close. But so you got to find the right seats, even for them. It's different. You know. The best seats aren't really, I don't think, real close. Just back a little bit and up just a little bit. Then you're still right on top of them, but you're not touchable. But you know, so it's new for all of us, new for everybody. But it's been fun, really fun.
No one's fallen off the stage yet. So
well, that's good. Yeah.
Thanks, Rico.
I did take a fall a couple years ago in Boise, like this, just right off.
Phil Joel fell
Phil
off the
Joel
stage.
fell
Oh,
off.
that's right. Oh, sorry.
Fell on
I
his
forgot
back.
about Phil.
If it had been anybody Phil Joel, he would probably be in a wheelchair still. But he got up and kept playing.
Wow.
On his back, fell backwards on his back,
Wow.
4 feet up high. Yeah.
Made it through.
Michael Tate kept walking him backwards, singing to him, and
Right.
he didn't notice where he was and went right over the back.
Well, he
Oh
was
my
hopping
gosh.
on 1 foot.
Yeah.
Was he?
Backwards.
That's all
Is that
that
one?
happened.
I
That's
didn't
not
see
too
that.
bad.
Yeah,
He was on
he was hopping. He hopped right off. God bless him.
So one of the challenges with CCM worship music and the audience is connecting with that audience and facilitating the worship aspect of what you're doing. And I think sometimes new artists wonder how you do that. How do you establish that connection and how do you make that work? Can you guys talk a little bit about that?
Well, I think the worship aspect of it is something that's, I think the crowd relates to what you're saying lyrically and then the attitude of the music. It just draws people into a worship attitude. And you can sense that even when you're doing the songs before you even get out on the stage. You can sort of sense as a band that this is a great moment of worship. And if it feels that way to you, more than likely it's going to translate that way to the audience. And so you don't have to really force them into anything. You just basically go out there and start worshiping yourself, and they just get in and follow because we're all doing the same thing to the same God, and it's a universal, I think, a universal attitude.
Right.
I think it is through an instrument too. I will always believe that
Yeah.
you know, God doesn't come to work through you through worship, and it's not going to portray out to the audience. You know, so. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a big part of it, you know. I mean, even in my playing, that feels like worship to me. When I go out and I solo, when I play, it's inspiration, you know. My solos, not all the time, are all set. So it's
Sweet Home Alabama when you go.
Well, yeah. Well, that's not a solo though. That's a part. That's a part. But a
most
solo
famous- most famous thing you
is
do.
like the moment of just expression and worship and just let it flow. Let the and that's my favorite time. You know.
I agree
when
with
that
you. I'm
happens.
just cutting up with you.
I know.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. No, that's great. So you guys have done the Winter Jam for a number of years, and obviously a lot of artists have come through on all the tours and things. You've had a chance to experience these. You guys operate at a high level yourselves. What is it that makes a successful artist in your eyes?
Good
Well,
looks.
Good looks. There you go.
Well, I think they've got to have I think there's some calling in there somewhere to be an artist, and no matter some way, some gifting, of all the ones we've seen come through, and the ones that kept moving forward, and some that you can't remember exactly what their name was now, not because they weren't good people, just because they never were able to continue. God's doing something in their life, and what we do anyway. God's doing something in their life, musically, or something that's been going on in their heart they want to get out or have to say, or somebody in the band at least has that to say, and some guys are maybe on the coattails of that, but there's something to be said or something to be sung or something to be, that God's put on their heart that really resonates with everybody, that moves them forward, and hopefully they'll do some more songs that'll keep that, expanding that. And so, a lot of people we have out with us, is pretty crazy how God's, not because they've been with us, but we get some really great people come our way.
Sure.
Billy's daughter-in-law was a lights up artist for us, and she was the first artist because I remember looking over when I introduced her, and that we weren't ready, and her guitar wouldn't play, and her mic wouldn't work, and then her name's Francesca Ballesteros, by the way, and so she's a good example. She had something to say, and just a matter of getting her in the right place, the right platform, and get her out there. So some great artists. The list goes on and on. People have been those first three artists, what we talked earlier, where the lights are up and get that shot. And
Right.
some really come out of that, and some Some don't. So.
Yeah, we've seen
Sure.
many out there.
Yeah.
Lauren Daigle, for one, recently. Man, she blew up.
Yeah.
She wasn't a lights up artist, but yeah,
No,
she
but
was
she's
there.
still like, that have just gone to the next level like that. For King and Country did it pretty quick, too.
King Country was the first band in the lights up
Yeah.
position too.
Yeah, they
Nice.
did.
Nice.
Yeah.
So my last question is, obviously many musicians, songwriters, singers aspire to doing what you guys do, and you provide this avenue with the Lights Up artists, but there are other avenues for people to establish themselves as well. Do you have advice for them to get started with their careers and to build a career?
Well, I think the aspiration aspect of it has a lot to do with what we continue to do. None of it, when we started this thing, we weren't thinking of how many people could we get, could we fill up the arenas. It was really more of a, God, you've called us to do this, and so we want to do it with excellence. We want to do it as good as we can, to use the gifts that you've given us to the best of our ability, and then we want you to use that to reach people with the gospel. And God's just chosen to bless what we do. I'm convinced if we were still singing in 100-seat churches or whatever, we'd be. That was what we aspire to do, is do what we felt God called us to do.
Right.
So I don't know that it's necessarily an aspiration, a good aspiration to the only thing you want to do is to sell X number of records or to sing to X number of people. The aspiration should be, am I doing the best I am or I can for what God's gifted me to do and called me to do?
Right.
And that's and a lot of folks on the tour, a lot of them's like, I don't know how I got here. I don't know, but I'm just amazed at, rather than they've been, doing anything they could or whatever they had to do to get up to that level. God just sort of put them in that level, and they're just grateful for it.
Right. All right. That's awesome.
Yeah, the thing is, don't quit.
Right.
Yeah,
From
stay at
whatever,
it.
people told me that years ago. If you go through some hard times in your career, if you give up, you never see your dreams, And so a lot of people I know they got to that point, I can't do it anymore, and they quit,
Right.
But you just have to hang on and keep pursuing,
Sure.
God will lead the way.
Right. All right. Awesome. Guys, thanks so much for coming over.
Thank
I know
you.
it's a busy day when you're on tour like this and lots going on over at the Coliseum and things happening, but wish you a great show tonight, and it's been a pleasure to meet you.
Appreciate it.
Really.
Thank you, Mitch.
Eddie,
God bless you.
Pleasure.
Rico?
Thank you.
and thank you for joining me for the Sweetwater Minute. I'm Mitch Gallagher.